Welcome to part 8 of the Spring Boot Angular Full Stack project series, where we are going to build a video streaming application like YouTube. So in the previous videos, we are continuing creating the save video details functionality, and we have created a tags component from Angular material. So in this video, we are going to finish up the save video details functionality on the Angular side, and we are also going to upload the thumbnails and the videos from Angular side. So without any further delay, let's start the video. So the first thing we are going to do is to create a HTML control to upload the files from our Angular application. For that, I'm going to copy some HTML and paste it inside the save video details.component.html file. So let's go through what I've just pasted inside this HTML file. So we have this label called as upload thumbnail, followed by an input control of type file. So whenever we click this upload thumbnail file control, so it will open a window where you can browse through the files inside your file system. And whenever you select a file and click on the button upload, so we are supposed to display the name of the file here inside the text selected file. And we are also going to upload this file finally to our backend, which is going to upload this thumbnail to AWS S3 and store it there. So if I open the application now, the HTML file looks something like this. So just below the save button, we are displaying this upload thumbnail file control. So what we need is this upload thumbnail section above the save button, but not the upload thumbnail section above the save button, but not below. So I'm just going to go back to IntelliJ, and I'm just going to cut it out and paste it just above the save button, right? So save it and it should be automatically reloaded, right? So this is what we need. So if I click on the choose file button, so this is the input type, the HTML input file control. So this will open the file system window, and here I can select any file I like. So click on open, and here you can see that the name of the file is displayed automatically. And what we need is, if I click on the upload button, it should be uploaded to the backend. So for that, I'm going back to IntelliJ. And what I'm going to do here is, in the input tag, whenever a change is detected, a change event is triggered, we are going to capture that event, and from that we are going to capture the file which is uploaded to our application. So for that, I'm going to use the change directive from Angular, and here I'm going to call the method onFileSelected and pass in the event which will be triggered whenever this file control is accessed. So of course, this onFileSelected button method, this onFileSelected method is not yet existing in our component. So I'm going to create this method onFileSelected. And inside this onFileSelected method, what I'm going to do is I'm going to retrieve the file, whatever file which the user has selected. So for that, I'm going to first define a variable called as selected file, right? This variable, I have to declare it on the component level. So I'm going to go all the way up, and here I'm going to define a variable called as file, right? So this file, whenever a change occurs, so whenever we click on the file control and upload the file, we want to assign that file to this particular selected file variable. So for that, I'm going to do this dot selected file equals event dot target dot files. So this is complaining that the object is possibly null because we did not define it. So I'm just going to, for now, add the suppress with tsignore block here. So alright, so now we also need to retrieve the file name from the file. So for that, I'm going to type in selected file dot name, and I'm going to store this variable, and I'm going to store this file name inside a variable called selected file name. Of course, this is not yet defined, so I'm going to copy this and define it as a variable of a class. Define it as an empty string, the selected file name variable. So again, to recap, whenever the user selects the file from the file system window, we are going to trigger a change. So Angular is going to detect a change and trigger an event. And whenever that event is triggered, we are going to call the onFileSelected method. And in there, we are going to grab onto the file and assign it to the selected file variable. And from that file, we are going to retrieve the file name and assign it to the selected file name variable. So what I'm going to do now is display the selected file name inside the HTML in the selected file section. So I'm just going to bind the selected file name variable, and let's see how it works in our application. I'm going to open the browser and select the file, then select the image file, click on open, and here you can see that apparently the file is uploaded successfully, and we are also able to see the file name here, right? So what I'm going to do now next is to, whenever I click on the upload button, we have to upload this thumbnail to our backend. So let's do this next. So I'm going to open IntelliJ, and in here in the button upload, we are going to add a click directive. So whenever this button is clicked, we are going to call the onUpload. We are going to call the onUpload method, which let's go ahead and create this method. And inside this method, we are going to upload the file to this particular video. Upload this file to the backend. For that, first of all, we need the video ID, because without the video ID, we cannot correlate to which video ID this thumbnail belongs, right? So for that, we already have the video ID as part of the URL. So if I open the browser again, here you can see the URL localhost 4200 save video details /1. So here 1 is the video ID, which is coming actually after uploading the video to our backend. So what we need is we need to read the video ID from the URL. So for that, I can do that by using a class called as activated route from Angular. So I'm going to first inject a class called as activated route from Angular router module, right? And access this. So I'm going to type in, so inside the constructor, I'm going to type in this .activated route .snapshot .params. So as we are retrieving the URL parameters, I'm going to access the variable params here under the snapshot, and I'm going to type in the variable name which is assigned to this particular route. I can find the variable name by opening the app routing module.ts file, and in here we have assigned the variable name as video ID. So also, while reading this particular value inside a component, I have to provide the same variable name so that I will be able to read the value, right? And let's store this value inside a new variable called as video ID, right? Video ID, and assign this value. All right, so now we got the video ID. So what we need is, we have the video ID and we also have the file which the user has uploaded in our component. So what we need is, we have to send this file and as a video ID to the backend. So let me open the controller inside the video controller, inside the backend folder, video controller. If I open the endpoint, we have an endpoint called as /thumbnail, which takes in a file as a request parameter and also the video ID as a request parameter, and we have to make a post request. So for that, I'm going to go back to frontend project and open the video service.ts file. So this is the place we are going to make all the calls to our backend, the service file. We already have a method called as upload video. I'm just going to make use of this as a template and rename this method as upload thumbnail. All right, and we are going to receive a file entry followed by the video ID. This would be a string, right? We are also going to create a form data just like we did for the upload video method. I'm going to create the form data and append the file as file entry and also the name. And we need some additional request parameters here. So like our form data dot append video ID as our backend is also expecting the video ID as a parameter. And lastly, we are going to make HTTP post call to upload the thumbnail, not the video, right? And add and update the URL as /thumbnail. And one more thing we forgot to, and one more thing is we have to check what is the response we are getting back from the endpoint. So we are receiving a string as a response. This would be the URL of the thumbnail, which is we are getting back from S3. So if we are receiving a text as a response, we have to define it when calling. We have to define it when calling the post, when making the post call. So I'm going to create a new object as a third argument for the post method, and I'm going to type in response type text, right? So IntelliJ is complaining because it's expecting type upload video response, but we are just going to return a string. So I'm just going to update the return type as string. All right, so now I'm going to call this upload thumbnail method from our component. So I'm going to go back to the save video details.component.ts file, and I'm going to first inject the video service inside the component. I'm going to type in video service and inject the video service class, and I'm going to use this video service inside the onUpload method. Inside the onUpload method, I'm going to type in this dot video service upload thumbnail, and to this thumbnail I'm going to pass in this dot selected file and this dot video ID, right? And this is returning an observable. So to be able to retrieve the return value, I'm going to have to first subscribe to this observable by type in subscribe, and I'm going to type in define a variable called as data. And what we have to do, and for now I'm just going to log this particular data response we are getting back, and log this particular data we are getting back. But what we do is show a notification, show an upload success notification, right? So we are going to do it next. Once we have received the confirmation that the thumbnail is uploaded successfully, we are going to show an upload success notification inside a new by using a new component. So for now, let's test this functionality, and before testing it, also make sure that you are running the backend application, the YouTube clone application. It should be up and running. Now let's open the browser, select a file, click on open and click on upload. So looks like we have an error. Of course, we are not able to find any video by ID 1. We have already uploaded the video. We need actual video ID. So for that, what I'm going to do is take the real ID from the database. Go to this, open this route again, and I'm going to upload the thumbnail one more time. I'm going to also open the network tools, developer tools, just to show you the response. So I'm going to click on upload. So here you can see that we have successfully made a call to the backend, and we received a 201 response. If you see the payload and also the response, we are able to see the URL of where we can find this particular thumbnail, right? So that means our upload thumbnail functionality is working fine from our Angular application. All right, so we need some kind of confirmation whenever we upload the thumbnail that the upload is successful or not, right? For that, what we can do is right after we receive the response from the backend, we can show a notification thumbnail upload is successful. So for that, we are going to use a component called as snack bar from Angular material. So I'm going to open a new tab and search for Angular material snack bar, right? And I'm going to click on the first result in the Google search results, and so yeah, we are going to use a component called as match snack bar, which is a service for displaying snack bar notification. So if you're wondering what is a snack bar notification, so I'm going to just click on this show snack bar. So it's nothing but a notification which is coming in the bottom middle section of the screen. So we are going to display the notification like this. So if I click on dance, it will be closed. So let's see an example how to implement this. I'm just going to scroll down and I'm interested in this particular basic snack bar. So when I click on show snack bar, it should display this particular notification here. So let's see how we can implement it. I'm going to click on the section view code, and as we don't need any HTML, this should appear automatically whenever the upload is successful, right? So I'm just going to go to the TypeScript file, and here you can see that in the implementation, we have first have to inject the match snack bar class into our component, and then we can use the open method of the snack bar to display the notification, right? So I'm going to open our IntelliJ, and inside the save video details component, I'm going to inject variable mat snack bar from the class mat snack bar, and I'm going to scroll down all the way down into the upload method, and just below the show and upload success notification comment, I'm going to type in this dot mat snack bar dot open, and to this open method I have to pass in two arguments. The first one is going to be the message which we have to display whenever the whenever the thumbnail upload is successful, right? For that I'm going to type in the text thumbnail upload successful, and the second argument is going to be an action. So this is going to be a close action. So for what is the text we have to display for the close action, right? I'm just going to type in the text as okay. So whenever the upload is successful, we are going to see the snack bar thumbnail upload successful, and if you click on OK, the button OK, then the snack bar will be closed, right? So let's see how this works. I'm going to open the browser, go to the route save video details, and I'm going to access this URL again. Okay, looks like we have some error. Let's check the console, and here it says null injector, no provider for mat snack bar. So the reason for this is I think we did not define the mat snack bar module inside the app module.ts file. So let's go inside app module.ts, and inside the imports array, I'm going to add in mat snack bar module, right? So once we have added the snack bar module, then our Angular application will understand that we have to use a mat snack bar. Okay, and I'm going to open our browser again and go to the URL save video details. Now you can see that this component is loaded without any problem. I'm going to again upload the thumbnail and click on upload, and now you can see that we are able to see the notification thumbnail upload successful, and I'm just going to click on OK, and this notification is going to disappear. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is to implement some visual improvements here. So as you can see that we are displaying the selected file text and the upload video whenever the user did not upload the thumbnail yet. So ideally what we have to do is only display the selected file text and also the upload button only when the user has selected the file, right? So for that, I'm going to implement these changes, I'm going to open IntelliJ inside the save video details component.ts file under the on file selected. Inside the on file selected. So first of all, what I'm going to do is create a Boolean variable called as file selected and set it as false by default. And inside the on file selected method, after the file name is assigned to the selected file name variable, I'm going to type in this dot file selected is equals true, right? And I'm going to use this variable inside the HTML file to toggle on and to hide or show the selected file name text, right? So if I open the browser, now you can see that the selected file text is hidden by default, and we can also hide the upload button, right? So I'm going to do the same thing also for the upload button, and I don't need the separator anymore. So you can see that we are repeating ourselves by specifying this ngIf statement twice. What I can do now, instead of repeating, is create a new div and add this ngIf statement to that newly created div and move these two new divs, the selected two divs, the selected file and also the div which is containing the upload button into that new div, right? So in this way, we don't need to repeat ourselves, we don't need to repeat the code, and we can control these two elements inside the UI with just single ngIf statement, right? So let's see how it looks like. So now it looks quite better instead of before. So if I try to select a thumbnail, it should see, now we should see the selected file text and also the upload button, right? So that's it for this video. In the next video, we are going to see how to display the video details, and we are going to implement the get video details endpoint API, and we are also going to show how to, we are going to display the video player inside the add video metadata screen, and we are also going to finalize the save video details functionality, right? So I will see you in the next video. Until then, happy coding, techies.